What a chump. Can't you see what we're walking out on? The grind. 365 days a year.
How many are there?
36. Counted them myself.
36! But last year I had 37!
God, place is a mess.
Mess? You're worried about a little mess? There's nothing here a little spit shine wouldn't fix.
I ought to kill you right now.
Not a very private place for a murder?
When you're working through finding the right people in your life, it can be tough in a digital world. With swiping apps, digits, it can be confusing. Well, on the Al Travis Show, we have Heather Dugan, our relationship expert, to help with all your relationship questions.
I could not wait to get our relationship expert on the program this week. She is Heather Dugan. Heather, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about you, Al?
I don't know. Have you heard about Minnesota in the news? We kind of made the news. We're getting really famous.
It's not about the winter anymore, is it? Not about the cold weather. Yeah.
Cold weather, land of 10,000 lakes. That's all out. We're at 10,000 fraud. Right. I mean, it's and what's weird about that, and I, again, back to being my relationship expert, it is amazing. And football's kind of like this, right? We hate the Green Bay Packers in Wisconsin, and they hate but we can all do that on a level, right? You make fun of people, and you can do it. But when you see your own state, a place you quote unquote love, in the news day after day after day with all this, there is actually, you can feel people at the Quick Trip at the down. You are down. It's an emotion. It's a weird embarrassment as a collective that none of us are happy with going on, and it's just a strange feeling. I don't know if you're going to understand that.
I do hear what you're saying. There's a shame to it that you can't communicate that there's such animosity in a place that you're supposed to be community, right? I mean,
and ashamed is something most of us had nothing to do with. It'd be one thing if Al did the thing, and then I'm shameful as I wander around. I get that, but as a collective, 5 million of us.
Well, it's affecting your identity as a Minnesotan, right? Kind of, yeah.
Kind of. You don't even want to tell people anymore. It's like the number of outstate friends that give me crap. Just. Hey,
you do going up a little bit? Yeah. Okay.
So there's that going on in the state. Now I want to share with you two stories that are true, that put me in a real funk this weekend, and I'm working through it now. One was a friend, a longtime friend, reposted thing that someone else had written, but basically it said, all of you that voted for Trump, the blood of that woman is on your hands. I'm like, what'd I do? Here I am. What are you talking about? I mean, I get, if you want to go, I get the premise behind it, but what it really says is all of you bad. You're all murderers. I cannot talk to you. And it's like, wow, didn't say or do anything with it. Let it sit over there. And the next day is a Facebooky thing from someone who said, I've went through and I took out all the people I know are Republicans. They're off. Now, I'm asking the rest of you to read this post, and if you believe any of this stuff, take yourself off. I want nothing to do with you. And it was, of course, a test to see if you're a Republican. And I saw, between the two of them, I'm like, we've gotten to a point there. If you cannot have a friend who's on the other side, now I want you off, you got to be done. There's no coming back for you in the collective of us all getting along at some point, right? It's the silent treatment for a family member. We're never speaking again. Well, guess what? You know the answer now. You're never speaking again. So it really hit me. I went in the garage in front of my Facebook. I'm having a cigar. I'm watching football. I'm decompressing. I can't handle this. Then Monday, Tuesday came along, and you probably don't know this because this didn't make the news. Senator Putnam, who was on the program earlier today, up in St. Cloud, they had an ICE incident. 50 ICE agents going to get a guy. Hundreds of people show up to protest that thing. You've seen it, all the videos.
Right.
And I saw my friend Putnam standing with his back to the ICE agents, holding the people back on his side, saying, no, this is not how we do this. He literally pushing some folks, not in a hard way, pushing them back.
Right.
And then brokered the deal. He went to the protest. What do you want? We want him out of here. He goes to the ICE agent. What do you guys want? I'm trying to get out of here. I mean, this isn't rocket science. We all actually had the same goal in mind.
Idea. Right.
Yeah. So he brokers that deal and does it. I love that cat. We need more of that. And maybe there's hope for society. But I'm telling you, in this state, and especially with this guy, I'm pointing at, I am scared we have gotten past a point of no return. Your thoughts?
I would say what a wonderful example, Putnam.
Oh, yeah.
If we are able to ask questions, there is hope. It's when the door is closed and when it's shut, and to the Facebook post. Instead, it's basically removing the responsibility of all the other decisions that have led to that moment. It's not one decision that causes the whole thing. We have made a lot of micro decisions along the way that have led us to this place. And I think, we have to take responsibility for our own micro decisions, but we have to understand in the moment, people don't always understand long-term ramifications of the little choices we make. And being willing to ask questions and to listen to their perspective on it. We want autonomy and respect for our own positions. Well, we have to be able to give that to others in order to receive it.
Well, where are you mentally when you say, I want to be on my Facebook? Facebook's everything to me. So if you don't agree with me, I can't. It bothers me too much. I push you aside. Because you have other options. You don't have to read all those posts. Well, you can go buy it. But once you call the list and knock people off or tell people, here, if you don't believe this, get off of my page, you have literally decided, I will only see people that agree with me. That's my...
You're right.
I know this person. True. I don't think they're idiots. But there's an emotional idiocy to that says I can't take input unless it's agreeing with me. You know what I'm saying? Idiocy might be a bad word.
I do hear what you're saying. Word. Let me make a thought here.
Yeah.
To me, it also could read as an emotional shutdown, the same as you going in your garage and decompressing. This person may not have a garage where they can smoke a cigar.
Well, my point is, then don't turn the Facebook on. Right? If your relative is getting you a Thanksgiving, you can go in another room. You can have an extra cocktail, whatever. We all do things differently. You can do that. But once you go to Uncle Bob, you are wrong. Get out of my house. We're never speaking again. It's over. The door is now shut. It's a
desperation decision almost. And I think we have to really think, people are reacting in emotional ways. That's nothing new. This is a very difficult time to navigate ordinary conversations when you're worried about undercurrents all the time. And I think people are in that hypervigilant state a lot of the time, more than they should be. It's bad on our systems for sure. But it leads to some quick words sometimes that it's really more of a reaction to what your body's doing than to what your brain is doing. And I think, the more we're able to just pause for a moment, there is no reason that something can't be said 5 minutes later after you've given yourself a moment.
See, that is such a great piece of advice. Your next book, Take the Pause. That's what I want you to write, because I think that is probably the greatest advice. Not that you haven't given great advice on the show. That's it, because it is very true. This situation Minnesota is going through will be here more than till today or tomorrow. This is not going away. Take that pause, take a breath in, and find out if that is seriously how you want this to look from the other side.
Is it who you want to be? That's what I always love. Every decision needs to be, is this who I am? Is this who I want to be? Yeah. And am I the kind of person that is going to be proud of saying these words? Or could I ask a question first and get a little more information about maybe why they're feeling or responding that way?
Do I have to slam the door? Uncle Bob, get out. We're not speaking. Exactly. Is that serious what I want? Or I'm just letting him know I'm not taking this right now. Uncle Bob will talk next week. I got to go to break. When we come back, I'm going to throw this out to you so you can think about it for a second. I saw two interesting stories about businesses and what's going on. And the lack of response, that they're not coming out in favor of one side or another. And it was interesting. Both the stories seemed shocked that businesses don't want to stand their ground. And I'm thinking to myself, and this is where I'll lead with you so you can think about it. What I don't understand with that is I don't care what Pepsi thinks. I should not care what Doritos thinks. I should not care what the mac and cheese, you know what I'm saying? Why would anyone care? You make Pepsi, you make Coke, you make mac and cheese, and I'll go with that. But if you start telling me what side I'm wrong on, it can only hurt businesses. Why does anybody care what they think? Back after this, Heather Dugan, our relationship expert.
Braver Angels Minnesota is part of a national movement that brings together conservatives, liberals, independents, and others to restore trust, respect, and goodwill in politics. We seek not to eliminate our differences, but rather deal with them head on, with respect and understanding. We do not try to change people's views, but how they view the other side. There will always be differences. Braver Angels Minnesota believes the best way forward is to change how we deal with those differences. Join the civil conversation at mn.braverangels.org.
You know that car sound that sounds like a cricket playing a banjo? Jay's can fix that. You know when you step on the brakes and your car sounds like a pair of tennis shoes in the dryer? Paul is the guy who specializes in that. And you know that sound that never happens when the mechanic's around? Paul took a whole course on that. If you own a car, you need to know Paul. Paul owns Jay's Auto Shop, 202 North Main Street, Blue Earth, 525-1052, 525-1052.
It's nice to know a guy that knows a guy. Al Travis.
So we've got our relationship expert, Heather Dugan, on the program. Love having her here. When we went to break, the question to you was, why do people need industries to tell us their thoughts? Two separate articles were written about why big corporations aren't weighing in on the news of the day. And I just couldn't think, why? Good God, what do I care? You make Doritos. I love Doritos.
You know what I think's going on? There's always been a few outliers, Ben and Jerry's, and that ones that were very socially oriented, and there's, that's fine. That's who they want to be.
Yeah,
I think during the pandemic, a lot of businesses pivoted to revealing personality as a necessity in order to survive, and now there's sort of an expectation of, well, who are you? And once you've stepped out there, what are you going to show us next? And and so we kind of have, it's a dangerous place to probably live as a business, because you're going to alienate one side or another along the way. But
on the people side, they want to sell stuff. You want to walk a line so you don't, I get it. So now you're getting couched opinions anyway, right? What do we say without bothering anybody? But my point to you is, what makes, and I don't think you do, but what would make a Heather say, I need to know why do I care? If you want to know what your relatives think, close friends, to bounce ideas off, what do I give a crap what Coca-Cola thinks?
I'm more interested in, what are they putting into their products that I'm going to take into my home. I mean, that's the more important thing,
But what is that? Is it a need to feel I have many on my team, including Pop? I don't know why the need for that.
Well, and I just think a lot of it comes down to social media. People have branded themselves that way.
Yeah.
And so it becomes something that we look for. I don't think necessarily even consciously at times, but there's kind of an aura around one brand or another on what messages they're putting out. And social media, you can keep it light and fluffy, but anymore to stand out, there needs to be a little bit of an edge on it.
So what do we do as people, Heather? What are we to do with when Al is feeling just overwhelmed, when someone wants to, you take a breath. What can I do besides that? Is there a way of saying, give me the conversation with someone who I know is on the other side?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, get off the playground, people. We're responding in these very instinctive ways. And I do think the questions are so important. If you can, and this comes down to inside of yourself, can you be curious instead of immediately going to judgment? Because, as humans, we want to put people in everything. We want to make order of our world, but our world is unorderly. We ourselves are unorderly. We're not always consistent. Your favorite ice cream might change next week, Al, and
I'm really rigid on a lot of things.
Okay.
But I get your idea. I get your idea, but no, don't mess with my ice cream.
Be curious. Be curious. If somebody feels this way, there's a story there. Why does it matter to you? And can you leave room for their story and still own your own? I think a lot of times we want people to align with us because it makes us feel stronger in ourselves. But we still have commonalities, and those are what we have to look for, what we have to identify.
What I find striking, and I presume you've seen all this video up here, is two people can look at the exact same 3 videos and have exactly the opposite reaction or truths to what they saw. I don't know how to deal with that. It's okay. Obviously, you ever see that thing online? Is the zebra going to the left or the right? And if you look at this, and that means you're left brained or right brained. And I don't know. I just see a zebra. Is that what that is? Is that there are people who will see what they want to see so desperately?
Confirming biases.
Yeah. Is that what it is? Because it's amazing.
I think there's a bit of that. It is amazing. And I think we have to be really careful, if we have to look at ourselves too, because we're all doing the same thing, whether we recognize it or not. And I think saying you see this, I show me what you're seeing. Okay.
Yeah.
Explain to me what you're seeing. Can you see this? Can you also see this? Is it possible? And with AI in the middle of everything, I think we have to question any video. All of those things that are being put in front of us.
100% agree. But I like what you're saying here, and I'm going to turn it inward. Because we all have that bias. You're absolutely right. We're all looking to prove that what we think is correct, and that's just the way everyone leans. But can you say, am I right here? Is this an AI in my head? Is this my head mucking around with me to make sure? And can you look that introspectively to ask that question? And even if you do ask the question, are you willing to take the answer and say, yeah, I probably went over to the top on that or not? That's some soul searching crap right there, Heather.
What? I've had that on a couple things recently where I said, oh, that wasn't the right thing. And it was about me. And, I wrote an email in one case, it was a conversation that needs to be continued. But, that is growing up, Al. I think we have to do that. We have to look back.
I made it to 60 without growing up. I'm not starting now.
But, you have to honestly ask yourself, who do I want to be? And if you want to be your best self, you have to let other people be themselves. And their best is going to be a different version of your best. And that doesn't mean you may not agree with them. You may not want to be with them ever. But they have the ability and the latitude as a human being to be it. And if they are breaking laws, if they are doing things that are horrible to other people, that's a different story. But I think we have to be willing for people to have different opinions and asking questions like your friend the gentleman that was on the show earlier today.
Yeah.
That's the first step. We just have to ask those questions.
I love that. I got to go. Someone wants to pick up your books. Any one of your books get you to come talk to their group or organization. How do they do it, Heather?
Reach out to me at heather@heatherdugan.com. You can find, I'm sorry, that's my website. You can reach me by email there. And I am somewhat on social media. Like you said, a little bit done with some of it sometimes because there's just a lot coming at you. But take care of yourselves, people, and take care of other people as well if you can.
Appreciate you, Heather. I always have, and I was very glad you were on this week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Heather
Bye-bye.
Dugan, heatherdugan.com.
Hey, Brian, what do you call a